Hey everyone, welcome Booster Tutor. I'm Brandon, and today we're going to be talking about the giant news dump that Magic had on September 1st, so a couple days behind, but we're also in the middle of spoiler season for Zendikar Rising, so lots to talk about here. First, let's start where they started with the Zendikar Rising trailer, which was very good. They're always really good. But thankfully, no pop song this time. The first two I liked, the third one I was like, okay, kind of getting tired of this. And I guess they were too, so it is gone. Next, Nahiri is a villain, all right? This trailer kind of made it seem like what they've been doing is like ride the line with her of, oh, she's just angry and she wants to do what's best for her plane. She'll do whatever it takes to make her plane better according to her and doesn't care who gets in her way. But you know who else does that? Villains with god complexes. So I don't know, they try to make her like an anti-villain, but does anyone remember what she did in Instruct? She killed a lot of people, and maybe if like they started off with this then went into Innistrad where now there she's like a full-on villain, but they kind of went backwards and now I don't know, I think they're trying to pull back on her a little bit and she's just a villain. Just make her a villain. They talked about some spoiled cards, but we'll get into those. First, let's get into mechanics. Kicker returns as always. Pretty much when you need a filler mechanic, you got Kicker. It's the go-to mechanic because it's easy to use and understand, and you can pretty much add anything to it. Just say when you cast this card, pay some extra mana, and you get an extra effect. Easy peasy. You can say a creature get counters, like with Gnarled Colony, which is a 1 and a green 2/2 Kicker, 2 and a green. If Gnarled Colony was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on it. Each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it has trample. I like that. I mean, it looks like counters might be a thing in this set, and I love anything that says, you know, creatures with counters get trample. So it's just a nice little, especially on something so cheap. It's like that cat from Core 21. Just really good card, and can be a 4/4 sometimes with trample. Or you can have a mechanic with Kicker, like make a creepy ghost copy of a planeswalker, such as with the Jace Mirror Mage. 1 blue for loyalty, has a Kicker of 2. When it enters the battlefield, if Jace was kicked, create a token that's a copy of Jace Mirror Mage, except it's not legendary, and it's a starting loyalty of 1. It has a +1 of Scry 2 and a 0 of draw a card and reveal it. Remove a number of loyalty counters equal to that card's current mana cost from Jace Mirror Mage. So 3 mana planeswalker is always really nice. This one, you know, doesn't do anything incredibly crazy, but just, you know, very efficient. The Scry 2 is very nice. Just drawing cards is always good. I mean, yeah, it's fine. Our next returning mechanic is Landfall, and Landfall is one of my favorite mechanics. Basically, on a card with Landfall, when you put a land onto the battlefield, an effect will trigger. It's just one of those slap you in the forehead mechanics you can't believe it took so long to be made. It takes something that's in every game of Magic and really makes you think about how to use something that was pretty much an autopilot action before, the land drop. So some cards with Landfall are Omnath, Locust Creation. It costs red, green, white, and blue for a 4/4 legendary creature elemental. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. All right, so 4 mana, very hard to cast 4 mana. 4/4, draw a card, and then Landfall is whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. If this is the first time this ability has resolved. If it's the second time, add red, green, white, blue. If it's the third time, Omnath deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. A little underwhelming, especially for a 4-colored creature. I mean, does that do enough? Yes, you might be able to get like multiple ways to get landfall triggers to happen, but even then it's not that exciting. Like gain 4 life, okay, that's fine. Then you get 4 mana. It's like, I hope I can use it right now, especially if it's like right after you cast this creature. And then 4 damage to only opponents. Now, it doesn't take care of creatures. Like we've had Omnaths that just, you know, make sure you always have mana on hand, or just make 5/5 elementals. This one just draws you 1 card and then does some other effects that aren't that great. And a returning Landfall card, which is A, beautiful, and B, an amazing card. Lotus Cobra, 1 and a green for a 2/1 snake. Landfall, whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. Just very nice little ramp creature, can get out of hand if you get multiple land drops. And now returning as a rare. It was a mythic in the original Zendikar, so just really like it. And that art for the showcase, oh, amazing, amazing. And our new mechanic this time is Party. Basically, this is a card will care if you have a party of creatures. A cleric, warrior, wizard, rogue, your basic D&D party. Some cards will care how many members of party you have, and some will care if you have a full party. I love this mechanic in theme. It's very flavorful. I could see some awesome commander decks being built around it. As a mechanic for gameplay, oh boy, I'm not liking it that much. Of course, I'm coming from like a limited standpoint. It's just in limited, especially whenever it wants a full party, I feel like it's gonna be a trap. Like some cards, they'll be fine. You'll play them because like, hey, they're good cards. And if you can get them to cost a little bit less, that's awesome. Like Spoils of Adventure. It's 4 white blue for an instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. And then you get to gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. At 6 mana, I'll play that. And if I have like a rogue and a warrior out, this costs 4 mana. That's awesome. But cards like Linvala, Shield of the Sea Gate, which is 1 white and a blue for a 3/3 legendary creature, Angel Wizard, has flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, choose target non-land permanent and opponent controls until your next turn. It can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Okay, so like full party, how often is that really going to happen? Especially in limited. Limited, probably never. Like I said, it's a trap. Don't try and go for it. It's just there's not enough of these types of creatures, especially ones you want to play. Like standard, I doubt there's going to be a deck around this or anything. Maybe in Commander, you could obviously, build your deck around it. You have a giant card pool to pull from. But here, I don't like the full party mechanic. And then, of course, Linvala also has Sacrifice Linvala. Choose Hexproof or Indestructible. Creatures you control gain that ability on their turn. So she's a 3-mana, 3/3 flyer that you can sacrifice to give all your things indestructible or hexproof. Like, that's fine. That's fine. The party thing, I just say just ignore. So, but I do like the ones that can sometimes make things cost less. Oh, and there is also a newish mechanical called Modal Double Face Cards, or Modal DFC. Just rolls off the tongue, right? We've mostly all played with DFCs. You play it on one side, and an event causes it to trigger and flip. These new ones, you get to choose which side you play as you play it. A very nice twist on the mechanic, and honestly, I'm a fan. Like, we have these Pathway land cards, which come into play untapped, not tapped, very nice. And one side is, say, a mountain, or the other side is a plains. So you just get to pick, like, which side you want. Say it's in your opening hand, and it's just a nice way to fix your mana right then. You're like, okay, well, I don't need white in this hand, so I will play the mountain side. So just, I like it, especially the untapped part. Like, a lot of these things would usually come to play tapped or something, but just a nice way to fix mana, just curve out. And also, there's these new ones that do come and play tapped, but on the other side, there's a spell. So like Valakut's Stoneforge. This is a land, comes to play tapped, and you tap it to add red mana. Or, say it's late in the game, you don't need more mana, you can use the other side, Valakut Awakening, 2 in a red, instant, put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards +1. Just, yeah, sweet, I'll take that. Early game, I need a land, boom, there you go. Late game, I just need to draw some cards, right there. Like, love that idea. Also announced, some big news here, expeditions are back as box toppers. So draft and set boosters will each get a box topper, 1 non-foil. Collectors will get 2 non-foil expeditions and a chance of getting foil ones in the collector's packs. So once again, like they did with the last expeditions, there are too many lands. There's 30 lands. Why are they doing so many? But they also include all 10 fetches, so that's very nice. And of course, it's exactly where everyone reprinted as very hard to get box toppers. So in addition to the fetch lands, they also have all the bottle lands, the allied fast lands, only 2 creature lands, Grove of the Burn Willows, Horizon Canopy, Strip Mine, Wasteland, Ancient Tomb, Cavern of Souls, and Prismatic Vista. So unlike last time, not really any bad ones. I'm looking at you, Core Haven. So that just about does it for the Zendikar news. So let's look at some of the more noteworthy cards they spoiled this time. I'm gonna say Zendikar Rising not looking like a very powerful set. It seems like maybe they've heard some feedback and they're like, you know what, let's tone down some of these cards. Though I must say Nissa of Shroud Burrows, very nice card, especially that alternate art one. So 2 black green, that's right, she's Golgari colors. Legendary Planeswalker Nissa, 4 loyalty, she has Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a loyalty counter on Nissa. +1. Untap target land you control. You may have it become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste and menace until end of turn. It's still a land. So basically you could just +1 it, make a creature, or just +1 it, untap a land, and use that land. -5, you may put a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control onto the battlefield from your hand or graveyard with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Yes, no ultimate, but a very efficient creature, and just, yeah, all around a very good card. Next, let's talk about some of these party cards. We have Tazri, Beacon of Unity, 4 and a white for a legendary creature, Human Warrior, 4/6. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. So she could just be 1 white for a 4/6. Oh boy, and she also has this weird hybrid mana cost of 2 or a blue, 2 or a black, 2 or a red, 2 or a green. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, Wizard, and or ally cards from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. So, basically just command fire right there. Like, she's going to be a great commander. You have your little adventuring party right here. This is your leader, or, can also just work for allies. Next, we have a common removal spell, which I think will be very good for limited. Deadly Alliance. 4 and a black for an instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. So common removal for planeswalkers, always nice. The 5 mana, though expensive, is pretty much what you usually pay for like a necessary evil of removal in limited. The fact this can just go down to 1 sometimes, it's pretty amazing, though most times it'll probably be like 3 or 4, and that's fine. Next we have a Legion Angel, 2 a white for a 4/3 Flying Angel Warrior. When it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a card you own named Legion Angel from outside the game and put it in your hand. So as some are calling it the new Squadron Hawk, maybe not so much. The fact Squadron Hawk only costs 2 and was a 1/1 that could have equipment put onto it easily. That's what really made it, the thing to play. This one's very nice though. I do like a 4 mana 4/3 flyer, and the fact I can just keep putting more in my hand, that's awesome. Maybe not so much for limited, but just any constructed format. Next we have Confounding Conundrum. Now this one, oh boy. 1 and a blue for enchantment. When there's a battlefield, draw a card. That's the easy part. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player had another land enter the battlefield under their control this turn, they return a land they control to its owner's hand. So this is like a way just to deal with ramp, basically. Anyone who's getting 2 or more lands on the battlefield, per turn, that just turns that off, basically. Yes, they can, if they have instant ways to do it, they can play it on your turn. Also, this will help your opponent if they're a landfall deck, but basically that's not what this is for. This is for sideboarding against rogue decks and stuff like that. So just really nice card. I like everything about it. It's just so dumb. A card I do not like, Angel of Destiny. 3 white for an Angel Cleric to 2/6. Flying, double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. Like, all right, hey, I think we're not supposed to be on the same team here. You're my opponent. At the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. It's like, okay, that's cute, I guess. I don't really know why you made this card. Like, yes, it's like, okay, here's an alternate way to win, but it's just, why? Yes, it'll feel fun if you win with it, but I don't know, just there's better things you could do. Next, we have Zarath San the Trickster, 3 blue-black for a 4/4 legendary creature, Merfolk Rogue, with Flash. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may put target permanent card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So first off, I like that. That's nice. 5 mana for a 4/4 that if I get to hit my player, I get one of their creatures. Maybe sometimes they don't have any creatures in their graveyard. That sucks. But just, a nice little fun card. Also has a weird form of ninjutsu, which is 2 blue-black. Return an unblack attacking rogue you control to its owner's hand. Put Zarath San the Trickster from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. So it's a nice little way to try and sneak him in so you can get that ability to go off. Maybe a little bit too much setup. for what it can do, but I think that's a fun little card to try and just get its thing to go off, more so than the Angel that we just talked about. But yeah. Next we have Ruin Crab, 1 blue for a 0/3. Creature crab, landfall, whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 3 cards. So a lot like Hedron Crab, but can't hit yourself. So if you are, for some reason, a mill player, here's a card just for you. I mean, Hedron Crab is just fun to mill people with. This is like you get an extra copy, and just, you know, landfalling and just getting this to go off multiple times is always nice to see happen. And of course, since we're on Zendikar, there will be equipments, and this one I like a lot. Maul of the Skyclaves, 2 and a white for artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. So right there, a free attachment. I think all the artifact equipments have that ability in this set. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and first strike. Yes, please, for 3 mana, that's awesome. And its equip is 2 white, so expensive equip, but the fact you get the first one free, hey, that's how they get you, right? And last, the card I'm probably most excited about, because everyone was like, hey, you know what, Vampire Nighthawk, just not good enough. Just, you know, trash card now. We have Nighthawk Scavenger, as people like to call it, Nighthawk Goyf, or Vampire Goyf, whatever you want to call it. 2 black for a +1 star 3. Vampire Rogue, flying, Death Touch, lifelink. Nighthawk Scavenger's power is equal to 1 plus a number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyards. Like, oh boy. So it's just, it could be like, you know, a 7/3 and flying, Death Touch, lifelink. Oh, that's just, Vampire Nighthawk was already so annoying. Just to make it even better at the same casting cost. Just, love it. Thank you very much. And that does it for Zendikar Rising, but not for all the news. Next, we have a sneak peek of some of the new sets coming up. First up is the set Kaldheim. So this is a plain first tease in the original Plane Chase on the card Skybreen, and is based on Norse mythology, which I'm very excited for. Magic has been hit or miss when they make sets based on pre-existing myths. You know, there was Theros, that was nice, but Beyond Death was very unremarkable. Throne was great, you know, fairy tales and all that, but Amonkhet was just bad, really. And Kaladesh was so surface level on its Indian themes, I don't even know if you can count that as its main theme. I think it was just like, you know, very window dressing and like, here's some artifacts. So a Norse setting is something players have been asking for a long time, and I can see them having a lot of fun with this. So yeah, like I said, very excited. Next we have Strix Haven, School of Mages. This is billed as the most elite university in the multiverse. Take that, Teleria West. So it's 5 schools of magic battled out to see blah, 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 Harry Potter, Earthsea, the Magicians. Strix Haven even sounds like a young adult novel title, so we'll see how this one is. Could be a lot of fun though. And next, Dungeons and Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. After a couple of years of there being some Magic Gathering in D&D in the form of source books for Ravnica and Theros, D&D finally makes its way to Magic the Gathering after only 23 years of being owned by the same company. So this kind of makes sense where they got the whole party mechanic idea from. They probably went to the Forgotten Realms R&D and asked them, hey, got any mechanics you're not using just laying around? And they're like, well, we have this party mechanic, but it's not very fun. They're like, hey, you know what? Who cares? We got expeditions. This set's gonna sell no matter what. But I am excited for this just to see, you know, all the D&D characters and creatures and stuff in a Magic setting. It's definitely better fit than some other tie-ins coming up. After that, we've got a few returning sets. Time Spiral Remastered. If you've never played a remaster set online, they're basically a condensed block into the size of one set. So this will be Time Spiral, Planar Chaos, and Future Sight all mixed into one. This will actually be the first time your master set will be in paper. So here comes your chance to get those Goyfs in a Future Sight border, and also your chance to maybe sell your old ones. I've actually played the Time Spiral block draft before, and let me tell you people, there is a lot going on. While fun, there are so many mechanics going on. It's one of those sets where you have to try and remember what everything is. Like there's morph, there's buyback, there's suspend, and you just never really know what's going to happen next, you know, for better or worse. A nice little extra for this set though is a new take on time shifted cards. So there will be certain cards from Magic's history, but with the classic old border. And boy, are these going to be nice looking in foil. Whew. Next, we have the return of Modern Horizons with Modern Horizons 2. After Modern Horizons nearly broke 3 formats with just a couple of cards, they decided, why not make another one? Will this be enough to save a dying format, or will it be the nail in the coffin? Stay tuned and find out. Also, fetch lands. That's right. While not the full 10 fetch lands, they are the ones you want. The 5 enemy colored fetches will be in regular packs at rare. Thank God. And last, we're going back to Innistrad whether you like it or not. After the disappointment that was Shadows of Innistrad / Eldritch Moon, the return to Innistrad will focus on werewolves and vampires over 2 sets appropriately named Innistrad Vampires and Innistrad Werewolves. Innistrad is one of my favorite draft sets ever, and when we first returned, I was so hyped, was so let down, when it felt like they were focusing more on the story and the mystery of Emrakul coming to the plane. I'm just glad that they're kind of taking a step back, and we'll get more of like a tribal field, and we'll just, hopefully get more of just that Innistrad goodness. And lastly, they announced 2 new secret lairs, the first being a Yargle secret lair that will be out on 9/3, Yargle Day apparently. Hey, remember Yargle? He's back in secret lair form. I mean, who is this for, really? I mean, it's a little too late to get on that Yargle hype train right now. Speaking of too late, 7 years after Monopoly Walking Dead, Risk Walking Dead, and Yahtzee Walking Dead, all Hasbro-owned products, The Walking Dead is shambling its way to Magic the Gathering. Yay. Oh, and apparently Arena on mobile or something? I don't know. Considering it crashes on my Mac and nearly sets it on fire, I think I'll hold out hope. All right, so that does it for our little news dump there. If you want to follow me on Twitter, booster_Tutor, and see you next draft.
This program brought to you by viewers like you.